On a spring day in 1793, a crowd of angry men burst their way through the doors of the assembly room where the French Convention was in session. A discomforted figure addressed them from the rostrum. "What do the people desire?" he asked. "The convention has only their welfare at heart." The leader of the angry crowd replied, "The people haven't come here to be given a lot of phrases. They demand a dozen guilty men." The book, Guilty Men, was slightly more ambitious than the Jacobins. It identified a cast of 15 of the worst players, most of them Tories, all of them men. The names were named, the crimes were charged. Yet Foote and his co-writers did not merely call out the ignoramuses or poltroons or cowards. They proposed a cleansing liberation. Foote's biographer, Kenneth Morgan, explained that the publication of Guilty Men assured that everyone knew who the villains of the 30s were and why they could never be forgiven. Foote admitted that the book, written in a rush and a rage, aimed simply to secure changes in the men running the war. Yet 80 years on, it seemed to me the most relevant reading during the long months of the coronavirus pandemic. This book, inspired by Foote and the pamphleteering tradition he embraced, casts a somewhat wider net. It features guilty men and guilty women. Instead of 12 or 15, there are 18 offenders, reflecting, I would argue, the wider array of wrongdoing during the course of the pandemic. The focus is primarily on the political class that, in a democratic republic, is supposed to be able to set things right. But it does not stop there. It considers as well the most egregious offenders among the economic and social elites. The point, which I will return to in the concluding chapter, is to demand accountability in our moment, as Michael Foote did in his. "It will make you fiercely angry as you read," declared a review of Guilty Men in 1940, "and it is anger that is needed to sweep these relics of appeasement, incompetence, and muddle out of public life." It is this justified anger, this righteous fury at those who caused thousands of unnecessary deaths and at those who enriched themselves in a time of crisis, that remains America's best hope for achieving accountability and for the justice that extends from it. Introduction. In the name of Mike Jackson. Let us then do honor to revolutions by justice. Thomas Paine, Agrarian Justice, 1797. Mike Jackson was a working man with a big family to support. He showed up every day for his job on the assembly line at the Briggs & Stratton manufacturing plant in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Classified as an essential worker when the coronavirus pandemic hit, he kept busy on the line, producing lawnmower engines and pressure washers. He worked his normal shifts. He worked mandatory overtime shifts. And the 45-year-old father of 8 worried. Mike Jackson didn't think the company was doing what was necessary to protect workers against the deadly virus that was spreading rapidly in and around his hometown of Milwaukee. The protocols for protection were clear enough. Wear masks, avoid face-to-face contact, keep a 6-foot distance, don't touch surfaces touched by others. But Briggs & Stratton seemed to be more interested in turning a profit than in following the common-sense rules of a pandemic moment. Workers at the plant complained that they were required to do their jobs facing one another on the assembly line. Managers were casual about mask requirements. Sometimes they didn't wear them at all. A month after the state of Wisconsin locked down in mid-March, Jackson and his fellow workers were so concerned that they walked off the job in hopes of forcing the company to take the threat seriously. They weren't asking for much. They just wanted Briggs & Stratton to follow guidelines issued by the Centers for Disease Control and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration for protecting workers from the spread of COVID-19. Mike and a bunch of people in the area came to me and said they were concerned about safety. One of the guys told me he was on medication. Chance Zombor, the grievance representative for United Steel...